America's workforce. Its strength is our nation's success. Join Ronnie Spellman on I Build America podcast as we explore innovative solutions and inspiring stories from leaders and workers shaping America. Discover actionable insights to build a motivated workforce.
Thank you for joining us on I Build America. We are here with a wonderful guest who is an expert in the hotel and lodging industry. So I'm really proud when we think about workforce development in this program. Our goal is to really bring information from all angles of workforce development that will help people, businesses, organizations, government agencies, leaders in the community to succeed in creating an environment that promotes workforce development. So I have with us Debbie Whelan, who is the Education Outreach and Foundation Director for the Texas Hotel and Lodging Association. Debbie, welcome to the program.
You. Happy to be here.
I am so thrilled to have you because, as you know, I've gotten a chance to get to know you and to get to know the hotel industry. And so many people misunderstand the vast magnitude of that industry from a business perspective. The hotels are major operations that are very complex. They have just a large spectrum of employee types, from the culinary that a lot of people might think of, or the hospitality or the cleaning team. But they also have other professional teams, from accounting and human resources to other leadership, attorneys, I think you mentioned earlier. So I'm excited to have you on the program to talk about the hotel industry and workforce development. And you travel the state working with organizations to help them build out educational programs at the high school level, and I presume the college level, that support the industry. Glad to have you.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
So tell me your journey. I know that you worked in education as a career and technical education teacher. You worked at the Texas Education Agency, and you worked in the private sector, including retail, and now at THLA.
So my journey started with H-E-B Grocery Company.
Okay.
I went through worked there part-time through college. Then I went through their management training program when I graduated from college, and I never realized I would have a career 18 years with the grocery company, but I loved what I did. And the last 10 years, I was in human resources. Several of those years, I was the manager of the career development program. At some point, I got married, had children, and decided I probably needed to work a little bit less. And so I thought, well, what can I do where I can help people develop and maybe work a little bit less? And so I became an educator and learned very quickly that educators do not work less. Educators work very hard, and they work lots of hours. And I was an educator for 18 years. Wow. I was a career and technical education educator, so I was helping prepare students for their career journey that would start upon graduation from high school. Taught all different kinds of occupations and loved what I was doing. But at some point I thought, my own children are grown up. It's time for me maybe to look at a different way to give back. And so I became one of the team members at the Texas Education Agency, eventually the assistant director of career and technical education. And so supporting 3 of the career clusters where Texas offers students opportunities to learn about industry. It was a fabulous job. I thought I was going to work there for the rest of my working life.
Right.
But I got wooed away because I was so passionate about the hospitality industry.
So before we get there, I just want to stop you. And in Texas, we have the career and technical education. Around the country, I'm not sure that every state is using similar terminology. Back probably when you were younger, and me included, it was vocational education. But that name is transition. But tell the listener, particularly those listening from other states, what career and technical education looks like in Texas, particularly given that you did it at the state level for the TEA.
So in Texas, career and technical education prepares students for occupations, helps them get a strong foundational level of understanding of what happens in the industry. And I say foundational, but in some career clusters, the students graduate ready to begin their career, whether it
High school.
Yes, right out of high school without any post-secondary education. So I'm thinking specifically about some of our healthcare occupations, cosmetology, some of the human services occupations. So students are learning, and it's not. Career and technical education sometimes gets a bad rap, if you will, because people think, well, it's only for those students who are not going to go to college. And career and technical education is for everybody. In fact, all the data shows that the students who take career and technical education courses do much better on their standardized testing, their reading scores, their math scores. They're just overall better students, maybe because they see the application of what they're learning. But the students in CTE do much better. And if you're a parent out there listening and you're thinking about the expense it is for students to earn a college degree, think about them having the opportunity in high school to experiment and recognize whether or not lodging industry is something that they really are interested in, or maybe health science, before all that money gets spent. It's so important.
And I've worked around career and technical education programs since living in Texas. It's worth, if you have a moment to share, it's worth expressing. I know that a lot of the leaders I speak to in Texas for CT programs, they see that there's an opportunity to grow and expand and continue to involve. But I can say, and I said this to a group of leaders for CT recently here in Texas, that CT programs are incredibly impressive in Texas. A lot of the school districts have these centralized facilities. They're amazing. They're bigger than some college campuses, or at least community college campuses in other states. And you mentioned the healthcare program. I visited one program in that healthcare space. They had a full mini hospital on this site where they can teach students how to care for patients and they can get credentialed. They had an ambulance on site in the training classroom teaching students how to draw blood and all the details that come with it and how to be a nurse. Very, very impressive. They're not just your small program like when I had in my vocational school class. It's an impressive. It's very advanced. Mm-hmm. Yes,
there are
better than a lot of states.
Many school districts that have commercial grade equipment,
right?
Whether it's in culinary arts or health science or electronics welding, they're doing what happens in the real world. Right. They have that equipment. They're learning how to use it. It's amazing to see the environments that the students get to work in.
Yes. And now you've been working to promote that on the hotel side as well. I know there's a school in North Texas that has a hotel lobby area that is just a great program, but it gives them that real world experience in addition to them going off site to an actual hotel to work. So yeah, tell me about your TEA, your Texas Hotel Lodging Association programs from an education and outreach perspective.
So we have several initiatives in place to help bridge the gap between education and industry. One of the newer initiatives that we have is a hotel summer camp. How can students imagine a career in an environment where maybe they just haven't had the experience to enjoy it? So we host the students for 3 days and 2 nights in a very nice hotel.
I've heard about your program.
Yeah, all over the state of Texas we've done it. And the students attend sessions during the day like you would as an industry leader. If you went to a professional development conference, they are learning about the hotel industry. They're learning business etiquette. They're learning customer service. They're learning about their social media presence. They're learning about the occupations in the industry throughout that 3 days. They get to see the front and the back of the house of the hotel. They spend the night in the hotel. They have all their meals in the hotel. It's just a fantastic experience for them to learn about the industry and all its exciting occupations.
And these are all high school students
These are high school students that are 16 years of age or older.
And I asked because I had a conversation with the superintendent. And the superintendent mentioned about their internship programs, and he used this as an example. He said, a lot of our students have never even been in an elevator. So we take them to these offices for an internship. They get in the elevator and it's their first time. I suspect the same is the case. They've never stayed at a hotel or a nice hotel.
Right.
Until they enter your program, I presume.
We have had the program for 3 years. And every year I ask the students, how many of you have been in a hotel like this before? Initially, very few. Probably about 10%. I've seen the number increase to about 30% of the hotels, of 30% of the students raising their hand and saying, oh, yes, I've stayed in a hotel like this before, but many have not. And especially those students coming from some of the more rural areas where there isn't even a hotel in their community.
Right.
They just haven't had that experience, so they can't perceive what it's like to work in that environment.
Interesting. Now, give the listeners some context behind the hotel industry. I know that you're responsible for Texas, but we have hotels throughout the country, which to me says that there are opportunities throughout the country for schools K through 12 to partner with hotels and build programs like what you're doing here in Texas. But what do the numbers look like? Why should anyone care and be concerned about the hotel industry from a workforce development perspective?
Well, I love the way you just phrased that, because one of the things that I tell students is that in Texas, we have over 6,000 hotels.
Wow.
You have over 6,000 places where you can go to apply for a job if you want to stay in Texas.
That's fantastic.
I tell the students about the largest hotel company. I won't say which one it is right now. But that company has over 9,000 properties across the world.
Wow.
So I tell the students, if you want to go to another country to work, you have 9,000 places you can apply for a job with this one company.
That's amazing.
So lots and lots of opportunities, but I really focus a lot on the Texas number.
Okay. So pause there for a moment, because I had, and then you reminded me, and I don't mind you mentioning brands if they're okay with it, but I attended a function with Hilton Hotels and they were speaking to students. And they said one of the neat little perks that we have is the ability to stay at our hotels around the world, either for free or discounted. So if people want to travel and they want to reduce some of the costs of that travel, working at a hotel is fantastic.
Mm-hmm. When I was an educator, I had a hospitality program, and the students interned at a hotel that was owned by Dolce. Dolce had hotel properties in some of the most exotic places in the world. Right. And if you were a Dolce staff member, you could stay in those hotels in these exotic locations for under $50.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a long time ago, but still, if you work for Hilton, or if any brand offers you that opportunity to stay at a very discounted rate or free when you travel. So imagine being able to go to Hawaii or some place that's your dream vacation location. And I share that information with students quite often. I presented in a very small community in the Coastal Bend area, Skidmore, Texas, where the students, 280 students in the entire high school.
Oh, wow.
I probably presented to about 150 of them. So most of them. And I asked them, how many of you want to stay in Skidmore when you graduate? Not one raised their hand. And I said, well, here, let me tell you about this industry where you get an opportunity to travel and to work in different locations. Super exciting for them.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So go back to those numbers, 6,000 hotels. I know nationally, I saw a report by the American Hotel and Lodging Association that indicated that I believe there are just over 2 million hotel-related positions in the U.S. That's an incredible number, with an impact of revenue of several hundred billion in revenue. Texas is a great place for a lot of people to build hotels and travelers to come through. And I'm amazed. So from a workforce perspective, it's a great opportunity for people to look at that as an industry to work. Right.
It's a wonderful industry. In Texas alone, we have about 1.2 million jobs.
Wow.
In all different kinds of sectors, if you will. As you mentioned earlier, we've got accounting, sales, marketing. We've got engineering, maintenance, security. Many of our larger full-service properties have health clubs and spas. So there are opportunities there as well, and the traditional opportunities of culinary arts, food and beverage, those exist as well, and housekeeping. Let me tell you that when I host those summer camps, I ask the students, if you were to guess what jobs exist in a hotel, what would be the jobs that you think a person could do in a hotel?
Right.
And I get two answers. The first one is housekeeping,
Right.
and the second one is front desk.
Right.
And the students have no idea of the dynamics that it takes to run a hotel and all of those other functions that exist in the hotel. And when they leave, they are thinking differently about their career pathway and their career goals.
Right. That's pretty neat. Someone reminded me recently, so that 2 million that I mentioned were direct hotel employees, but someone reminded me, Ronnie, not only do you have the hotel, but you have those other support businesses centered around the hotel. So interior design is a part of being at a hotel. You know, a lot of hotels have interior design people inside the company that are planning and designing these great facilities. But then you have, again, all the other businesses that support parking companies, that support the parking, the valet parking, and other ancillary businesses. But no, I'd love to have you tell me more. tell the listener more about the workforce development. It's just incredible.
Well, you know, you have your audiovisual businesses too that contract.
Right.
And now because our industry is struggling a little bit with workforce because of a lack of awareness, you have companies now that are providing like a temporary staff members to work banquets or big events that the hotel is hosting. That makes me sad because those temporary employees could gain so many more benefits if they worked directly for the hotel. But we're working through some of those awareness issues about the opportunities that exist. You know, I mentioned I worked for the grocery industry, and we fought the same battle in that industry, an awareness issue where people just did not know about all those functions that exist to make the company a profitable entity.
Right. Now, that's pretty fascinating. I think the good thing long-term with those temporary agencies, at least the people are learning about the business, and then maybe they can apply for a full-time opportunity. But yeah, and so in Texas, what's next for you? Tell us about the organization. How's the organization structured? What do you do in working with these different hoteliers and these different owners to help them build and grow their business?
So I work primarily with high schools and colleges.
Yes.
With community organizations, the local workforce solutions boards and our Texas Workforce Commission. And then I work with the hotel leaders. And I try to build bridges between all of those populations so that our pipeline is getting filled. So not only am I providing or increasing awareness among high school students, I'm also working to increase awareness among our existing staff members, providing opportunities for growth and development of those emerging leaders that are already employed with the industry. THLA hosts a professional development event once per year called the Hotel Short Course for those individuals who came on staff at the ground floor level and didn't realize the opportunities that existed, and now has vision. These people have visions of a career in this industry, but they don't understand revenue management. They don't understand accounting. They don't understand human resources, the hiring function. So this short course is a week-long professional development that provides them a firm foundation in each of those kinds of areas. They learn about the operation of the entire hotel property. So we're working hard to build from within as well as to attract new people. We do a lot with our workforce solutions locally to build relationships that encourage our veterans to apply for jobs, and really anyone who's seeking a change of career,
right,
that brings the skills that we're looking for.
And that's, you reminded me, I had a conversation with someone that works for one of the big brands hotels, and they started out, I believe, in front desk, and then they moved to, I think, setup for special events, and now they're working in human resources. And as people look to build their careers, let's say they start out in a facilities or the room cleaning part of the business, they have an opportunity to grow and evolve their career. Now, and that was a good example for me, just hearing her story. So I don't know if you have any insight on people's ability. I think you mentioned part of that, but people's ability to get inside of a hotel and then expand. And the other thing you mentioned, the veterans. I was looking at some numbers the other day. It says that there are 15 million spouses married to veterans. In 2019, less than half of military spouses were employed. And this is coming from the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. I found that fascinating because I spent a lot of time in my career hiring veterans and hiring spouses of veterans that were oftentimes underemployed, and they were underemployed because they were having to move so much. But it just hit me that the hotel industry could be a great place for many of them, because no matter where they might move to, even globally, the chances are there might be a hotel facility that they can move into and work in that industry still.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's so true. And I'm going to go back to what you first mentioned about that young person that progressed from one department to another. Many people in leadership roles now started their career in an entry-level position. Right. And I encourage young people always to get a part-time job in the industry. You get an inside view of the opportunities that are available. In this industry, the career progression is not linear. Yes. You don't go from A to B to C. You can go from A to F to D. Yes. You can try out every department until you find the one that is your passion or that truly makes you happy. So it's not uncommon for someone to start in guest services, maybe try out event planning or working in catering or being a banquet server, and then deciding, I think I might like working in human resources, moving to different locations. And while they're learning these different jobs, that's also equipping them to progress to leadership because they have an understanding of all of these different jobs. So in this industry, you can go from one position to another and learn. And the most important factor is that you have a strong work ethic.
I've been to a number of events with general managers for fairly large hotels, specific hotels. And the vast majority of the ones that I've met did not have a college degree. Mm-hmm. They did exactly what you mentioned. They started out as a bellhop in some cases and then became a general manager of a hotel, which is just impressive. And they're not old. They're still relatively young in their careers. Mm-hmm. The other piece that is worth noting as people think about building those careers, as a general manager, they can make really good money. I've heard the range extend from $80,000 at a small hotel to $200,000-$300,000 a year at a larger hotel. Mm-hmm. These young people can build really good careers.
Yes,
coming out of high school.
They can. Their earning potential is fabulous. The earning potential in just about every position is fabulous. Think about becoming a human resources director, a sales director, food and beverage director. They're earning a salary that's very close to what the general manager is earning. So lots of opportunities for growth. And you're right, a college degree is not required. Right. However, I will tell you that there were some people that started at an entry-level position, worked their way up a little bit, and then said, well, I've got to go to college. I've got to get at least an associate's, or I've got to get a business degree. I want to learn more to make myself more marketable. So a college degree can be a launching pad. It is not required. And when I poll, we have 70 board members on our board of directors. And when I poll them, easily 95% of them started entry level, worked their way up. Many of them now have a college degree, but they did not at the beginning of their career.
Well, so we have to back up on that. You have 70 board members, but it's worth noting to people who work and understand your organization. Those people on your board are all hotel people.
Hotel or tourism people.
Correct.
So we have representatives from some of our convention and visitors bureaus around the state. We've got hotel general managers. We've got management company executives. We've got some of the brand executives. We've got the leadership of our entire state hotel and lodging industry represented on our board.
I just wanted to point that out as you describe the makeup of your board and, their needs in education, but they're all industry people, which is really cool.
They are.
It's not like they work in some other part of another industry. They're not a software engineering firm per se.
No, they're all there to support the industry, the lodging industry.
So what's next for your program and your effort? You're responsible, I want to stress this, you're responsible for the entire state relative to their education effort, which is impressive. You're traveling the state of Texas a lot. And for anyone who hadn't traveled through Texas, it's a really large state. It takes nearly 10 hours to go from Dallas to El Paso and 6 or 7 hours to get down to the southern part near Brownsville. What's next on your agenda?
Well, there are some big things that I'm working on right now. I'm trying to work very closely with we have 5 large local hotel associations, kind of under the umbrella of the Texas Hotel and Lodging Association. We have 2 in the DFW area, and I work closely with them. I've been trying to provide them with data to drive their work with educational partnerships. I've been trying to work. We have our Workforce Solutions offices, 28, I believe, in the state of Texas. And not all 28 list hospitality or lodging as one of their in-demand sectors. And so I've been working to increase awareness among our state staff members as well, because we want to be included as one of the targeted staff members. That opens up an opportunity for additional financial support and just support in general to help us build awareness about the opportunities that exist in the hotel industry.
Now, and so that's really neat. Let's say that a new hotel owner comes to you, they're setting up, and they just need help and guidance. What do you tell them first? They go see the workforce board, see the chamber. Like, how do you help them start to staff up and build partnerships? Or partnerships, I've been discussing it a lot lately, particularly in education. How do they partner with the different community leaders and organizations to start building their presence?
So one of the first things we encourage is that they get connected with their Chamber of Commerce, their local chamber. We get them connected with the local school districts, community colleges, the universities in their area. We get them connected with their elected officials in their area. That's really important for them. The industry contributes. When you think about all of the tax that's collected in hotels and how that gets dispersed out to local communities. So it's important that our hotel leaders understand how that hotel tax benefits the community and that they're not only interested in, but involved in decisions that are being made in the community.
That is an absolutely interesting point that you make. And I think behind it is they've earned a spot at the discussion table because what they've built and now own as a hotel is having a huge impact on the local community just from the taxes that have been collected in their facility. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Mm-hmm. You have a big event coming to your state in 2026.
Yeah.
And the north part of the state.
Yes.
How are you getting ready for that event? And so it's FIFA World Cup coming to Texas in 2026. Everyone is working really hard. All the hotels are working really hard. People will start to come into town earlier than the actual event. Teams will start to come in getting ready. It's an exciting opportunity, not just for the hotels and your organization, but for people that are looking for work opportunities, right?
Mm-hmm. Lots of hotels are actually in the process of being built right now. We're the only state that has 2 locations for World Cup final games.
Nice.
So Frisco area will have be hosting some of the games, but don't let that fool you. Even though Texas is a large state, people will be staying all over the Dallas metro area, not just in that geographic area. And then Houston also will be hosting some games. And so currently, both the Houston Convention Center and the Dallas Convention Center are under major renovations. there's going to be a lot going on. So we're getting ready. We're building the infrastructure for that. We are working with many of our community colleges that offer hospitality programs to help build the pipeline of individuals that we need. We want to have all of our international guests to leave excited about what they experienced in Texas, and we want this to become a vacation destination for them in the future. So lots being done, beginning at the high school level all the way through the post-secondary level and in industry to prepare for that.
That is it's an incredible opportunity. And I know that everyone, particularly in Dallas area, they're just excited. They're so excited to have. I went to a professional soccer game a few months ago, and the place was completely packed, and people were loving it. So I can only imagine the energy, the international energy around soccer when it comes to the Dallas area.
We had a soccer team from another country come to play soccer in Fort Worth during our hotel summer camp in Fort Worth. We toured the property where the soccer team was staying. It was amazing to see the individuals that came from that country to support that soccer team.
I love it. Debbie, I appreciate you joining the program. As we've discussed with the I Build America program, it's so focused on bringing to light what organizations like yours and what you individually are doing within your organization to create workforce opportunities. And there's so many players in that whole workforce space. But when people learn about what you're doing, I'm hoping that they take it back to their state and ask questions. How do we do what Debbie's doing in Texas to build this kind of opportunity for our residents?
Well, I will tell you that in Texas, we share. So if anyone would like to reach out to the Texas Hotel and Lodging Association to find out what we're doing, we're happy to share. We're happy to share any information, any mistakes we've made, and share the resources so other states don't have to start at step one.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for joining us on the program. America, keep working hard, and let's make every day a great day.
Thank you for listening to the I Build America podcast. Please subscribe, share, and comment, and be sure to join us next time for more insights and inspiring conversations on building a powerful American workforce. I Build America, building workforce success one podcast at a time.